24 years ago today, a thick dark cloud engulfed our country, not from flames, but from the tragedy of losing 126 innocent lives to a stadium disaster. As we observe this day in grief, we will continue to mourn our fallen sons and daughters and forever stand against any form of violence in our match venues. Never again. Welcome to the VAR Room on Westman Studios. Today we'll preview the weekend games, and I have Nabila and Sefas to do this with me. What's up, guys?
Charlie,
Cool.
Charlie, 24 years ago, some fans went to the stadium to just watch one of our biggest games in the country, and they lost their lives. 126 souls, or 126 innocent lives, lost their lives.
Charlie, the way you start the show, you be like, "What am I in? Ow, Charlie." But how we do I mean, sometimes it's just on the lighter side, but these are moments we should reflect, like you said, and then we should all join together and sing the chorus of Never Again, because we can't keep losing people simply because we just want to go to the stadium and then watch the beautiful game.
That's very true.
We just hope and pray that our people will learn the lessons and then, do the right things.
Okay. So let's go straight into action. The top 5 race in the English Premier League is looking very interesting now. And this weekend we have top games coming up at the St. James's Park. It's Newcastle versus Chelsea. At the St. Mary's Park, it is Southampton versus Manchester City. At the Anfield Stadium, crowned champions Liverpool will be meeting Arsenal, and the Vitality Stadium will have Bournemouth versus Aston Villa. So big games coming up this weekend. Let's start off with the Newcastle Chelsea game. 4th versus 5th. All of them have the same number of points, 63 points. And this season already, Newcastle have been a very stubborn side when they met Chelsea. Nabila, talk to me about that game.
Like you rightly put it, very, very interesting game ahead. A very, very difficult game for both sides, especially for Chelsea, who in recent seasons do not have very good results when they travel away to Newcastle. Last season, they were whooped 4-1 by a very stubborn Newcastle side. This season, they met twice. Chelsea won their first game at home, Stamford Bridge, 2-1. Chelsea went away in the Carabao Cup at St. James and lost 2-0. So it tells you that it's kind of a game that any side can win. When you look at Chelsea coming into this game, it looks like they've picked form at the right time. Somewhere, I think 6 weeks ago, a lot of people thought that they were down and out of the UCL because running because they were kind of drawing games, they were losing games, and it was the time that they had lost certain key players, like Palmer was losing form, Jackson was out, Madueke, and it looks like the team was gonna just drop out of the UCL race. But after that win against Fulham, it looks like they have picked themselves up, and they are coming into this. They've made the finals of the UEL, that is the UEFA Conference League, and it looks like there is a good vibe around the club. So they go into this game huge favorites. Newcastle on the other side, take it or leave it. You see, Newcastle is a very interesting opponent to play against, because when they meet the big boys, their game plan and structure usually kind of changes. They usually want to play a very deep mid block, use their physicality to bully opponents. And in that midfield of Tonali, Gumaresh, Joe Wellington, who is injured and is going to miss the game. They bring a lot of physicality to their middle. And so if you're a team going to play against Newcastle, you should be prepared to go to. And I think that with Chelsea's recent form, with how Maresca is playing, especially with the return of Lavia, inverting Caicedo from right back to form that pivot, especially when they are on the ball, I think that it's Chelsea's game to lose. Newcastle, yes, of course, they are playing at St. James, but with Chelsea's recent form, I think Chelsea can pick a very important win when they go away. Okay,
that's great. So first, just talk to me about Liverpool Arsenal. This will be a big one because Arsenal are going troughless. Though, and now the second...
The way they talk, I'm like...
Oh, no, they are going troughless. And the second position also is very risky for them now because they are just 3 points ahead of Manchester City, who is likely to win against Southampton on Saturday. Liverpool, some will be they are still in the party mood, still very happy, but playing at Anfield will be very difficult for us now.
It will. And you see, last weekend when I saw Arteta's lineup prior to the game in midweek against PSG, I asked myself, look, what's going on here? he virtually started a very strong starting lineup.
Yeah.
I don't know what the mindset was. Probably he wanted to still keep them, match fit and get the team cohesion up there as they go into the PSG game.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they lost to Bournemouth. And then they went ahead in midweek to lose to PSG again. It's archetypal Arsenal. This is what we know Arsenal for. And they are beginning to do the same things again. Look, I will not be surprised if Arsenal should lose the second position in the fight for the top 5. Going into this game, yes, Liverpool on the other hand also lost last weekend to Chelsea. Yes, you may argue from the point that they had already won the league. Yeah. So maybe, like you said, hangover. They are still in the celebratory mood. But then I don't see Liverpool approaching this game like they did against Chelsea. I see Arne Slot starting a lot of the big boys this time around. In the game against Chelsea, again, if you look at the lineup that Liverpool put out and the fact that they went on to lose, it sends a signal. This Liverpool team this season, okay, the key players in the team have stayed away from injury. It's one of the reasons Liverpool have gone on to win the league.
That's true. Yeah.
Compare that to the other teams fighting for the league.
That's true.
Look at Arsenal. At a point in time, Saka was out. Look at Chelsea.
Man City.
All the big boys in the league. But Liverpool had the key players. Look at Mohamed Salah, Szoboszlai, McAllister. All these players, by and large, were fit throughout the season.
And even with the injuries you're even talking about, Manchester United also had some injuries in it.
For Manchester United, let's leave them for
we are talking about people fighting for UCL places and champions. They are mentioning Manchester
They
United.
are using Europa to qualify for Champions League.
For that one, they'll use it to qualify. Don't worry. They'll use it to qualify.
Sure. They are using it. Now they have the key. They are able to open it easily than you that is fighting for the top 5.
Big shout out to Westman wherever he is. But they cap them and Manchester United, they cap Premier League or more pre-Premier League. People are fighting for Champions League player. Mention Manchester United.
Anyways, like I was saying, I think it will be a very interesting game. I think I see Liverpool approaching this game with much more seriousness than they did in the game against Arsenal. They wouldn't want to lose 2 games on the bounce after winning the league mathematically last weekend. So for me, I'm expecting a very tight contest. To be honest, if Arsenal should go ahead and lose this game again, from where I sit, Arteta has his work cut out. Look, he needs to approach this game with all seriousness.
Okay.
He needs to make sure that 3 points, worst case, a draw. Okay. Even though it's going to be very difficult, I still tip Arsenal to get something out of Anfield.
Okay. Quickly, let's just brush through the Bournemouth-Aston Villa game. Nabila, this is a game that is going to be a very big one because Aston Villa won last week.
Yeah.
Bournemouth also went to Emirates Stadium to win against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Just talk to me about that game.
I think it's an interesting game tactically because especially from the perspective of Bournemouth, having beaten Arsenal, they are full of confidence. They are playing at home vitality. And Bournemouth is a team that like to press a lot this season. They are one of the teams that will come after you. I mean, with the likes of Semenyo, Ivan Nilsson, they will not stop running. And you ask yourself that Aston Villa themselves, they also I think they lost Tielemans also this week to injury, and he's out, who has been one of their crucial players in the middle of the pack. And you ask yourself, how are they going to play? Of course, there is Onana and all these guys. But I think that Bournemouth will put Villa to the grave this weekend. I think they will make sure that the hopes that Villa have of qualifying for the Champions League is just, it will be dead on arrival before they get to the Vitality Stadium. I think that Villa will, yes, of course, they know that they have no other point than to win the game, and they will go all guns blazing, trying to play their game. But I think Bournemouth will be too much customers for Villa. I only see Bournemouth winning this game.
Okay. So let's go straight into the Bundesliga. For Harry Kane won his first major trophy last week for Bayern Munich. Just talk to me briefly about it, Cephas.
For me, if you look at a player of a caliber of Harry Kane, yes, a lot of people want to associate trophies to his stellar career. But for me, I don't think we should measure him by virtue of the fact that he had never won a trophy, and this is his only trophy or the first one he has won. Look, his quality is never in doubt. Yeah. Harry Kane has always been a brilliant player for both club and country. For trophies, it was only a matter of time. It was going to come. And once he moved to Germany, we all knew that it was always going to be on the horizon. The season has been stellar for him. He's been hitting the goals left, right, center like he always does. And so, yes, last weekend, I remember when they were trailing and they managed to rally from behind and they were leading. He was descending to come celebrate with the team before
only to be pegged back.
You know. So now they have the chance to do it at home and just win it in style and
celebrate.
It's never been in doubt. So congratulations to him.
Okay, so to the La Liga, this weekend we have the biggest game in the Spanish football.
Yeah.
The El Clasico.
Yeah.
That will be played at the Olympic Stadium. And fortunately for Real Madrid fans, they'll have a new coach next season. And it's 99% sure, like done, that Xabi Alonso will be the next head coach for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
And it's great news for Real Madrid because Xabi Alonso is a good coach. That is going to help the team a lot.
Yeah.
But going into this game, Madrid are losing a lot of players. Barca lost the Champions League against Inter Milan. So there's a lot of pressure that they have to win the La Liga this season. Nabila, talk to me about that game.
You know, I have a very funny feeling that Madrid will get one over Barca. I don't know, but it's just a funny feeling that I'm having because I feel like Madrid have their pride to salvage. I keep saying this all the time on this show that, you see, if you're a big team and you have won the Champions League last year, you have won the league last year, you do not sit down for academy boys, for small boys, for, I don't know, to come to be shipping you all the time.
All the time.
Like, I just do not understand. And when I look at the Madrid team, I don't understand why they keep losing to Barcelona, because I feel like of all the teams in the world, Madrid are the team that are best placed to hurt FC Barcelona with the kind of players that they have. And for me, I think Carlo Ancelotti should rectify all the mistakes he has made in the past 3 meetings with Barcelona. Play Jude Bellingham as a false 9. And that is the key to beating Barcelona this season. Why? Because, you see, I think last week, Cephas made a good point about, if you want to get at Barca's high line, don't make runs at the last line of your attack. Yeah. They will always catch you offside. Yeah. Vinicius will stray offside. Yeah. Mbappe will stray offside. Rodrigo will stray offside. But if the run is coming from deep, from midfield, that is how you are able to, you see, whether they like it or not, Bellingham, strong, tall, good ball carrier, can bully his way through the middle. Just as how Marcus Thuram was able to bully the Barca defense. Bellingham has that ability to do that. And last season, we saw how, when he played further forward in attack, how he was banging in goals. So for me, I think the key to beating Barcelona, it is not using Mbappe and Vinicius. These players are very good dribblers. Use them in the middle. Let them dribble. Mbappe has a key pass in him. Vinicius has a key pass in him. Rodrigo has a key pass in him. Use these players in the middle. Let Bellingham, with his ability to run into the box, run from the middle. Get beyond Barca's high line, score them. I think it's just simple, but I don't know why Carlo Ancelotti, that's why Kizito will say, Ancelotti, that's an tactics, no, I weak, but okay. But still, if there is going to be a win, I think that if Carlo gets it right, gets the middle pack right, make sure that Jude plays as a false 9, I think that Madrid will beat Barcelona.
Okay, so Cephas, just talk to me about that game. What does Barcelona needs to do to be in that game?
If you're a Barcelona fan, let's go back 3 games. It was 120 minutes in the Copa del Rey final.
Yeah.
And then they had to rally from behind to beat Valladolid by 2-1. And then another grueling encounter against Inter Milan. Look, I'll be utterly surprised if this Barcelona team should outrun Real Madrid in the El Clasico this weekend. It's going to be unheard of, because Real Madrid has prepared for 1 whole week for this game.
And they know their defenders are injured, though.
Granted. Mm-hmm. They know it's within their grasp. Look, just beat Barcelona and close the gap to 1 point.
Put the pressure on
then
them.
Leave the rest.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I get
Real
you.
Madrid cannot afford to lose this game. And that is why I'm saying I'll be surprised if at the end of the day the statistics should start popping up and you see Barca covering more grounds than Real Madrid in the Clasico.
Okay.
I'm tempted to tilt towards Nabila. Look, I think it started from the Clasico, the final of the Copa del Rey, and we saw how close it was. Yes, Barca shaved in the first half. Yeah. Real Madrid came in much stronger in the second half. I think they'll build on from that second half, and I see this Clasico to be much more cagier and more closer than a lot of people will expect it to be.
Okay.
I don't see Barca losing because of how their season has been. They've been a much better side all season. I think Real Madrid is also catching up. Worst case, I see this match potentially ending in a draw. But if anyone should go ahead to win it, I expect Real Madrid to win this game.
Okay, so quickly, let's do this exercise. In the Serie A, if you are Inter Milan now, will you go for the Serie A or go for the Champions League? Nabila?
Kwabena.
Or you go for both?
No, I think Inter has made it clear that their priority lies with the Champions League. And it has shown in the Serie A in the about 3 or last 4 game weeks. So for me, I think if I'm Filippo, Simone Inzaghi, definitely I'm going for the Champions League.
So you don't want both? You just
no.
want one.
You don't waste your time. You see, if you are focused on going to get an aeroplane, aeroplane is also to and could be a boso kind match. Bebu nine.
If you are Simone Inzaghi, what are you going to do?
For the Champions League, it's 90 minutes away from glory. Yeah. For the league, your destiny is not in your hands.
No, about three,
so for me,
games,
just rest enough players for the Champions League final. Give it your all. Once you win it, that's it.
So to our viewers, what do you think Inter Milan should do? Should they focus on just the UEFA Champions League and dish the Serie A, or focus on both? Just go on our comment, just like, just subscribe. It's a wrap from us. Goodbye.